like that, I'll tell you what, Mark's in a position to carry this ball club for a while. Without Jose Canseco in there, you're going to need something like that. And he just missed hitting one out his first time up tonight. Now here's Terry Steinbach taking low for a ball. Well, Mark hit 33 of those homers last year and drove in 99 runs. And this is some kind of start for him here tonight. The A's lead it 3-0. Boy, did that ball get out here in a hurry or not?
Well, he has a little timing mechanism, and next time we see him hit, we'll show what I'm talking about. But he just timed that perfectly, and just watching him in spring training, the confidence that he had, that he brought into spring training, you can just see that he was going to have the kind of year.
Steinbach has a big rip, but gets under it, and this ball is deep in left center field. Briley's got it, and there are 2 down. Hey, the A's are taking some rips up here in this 3rd inning. So Steinbach goes back, and it brings on Dave Parker, who hit a fly ball out into right field his first time up in the ball game. Well, some interesting things in Major League Baseball today. Joe Fonzie didn't have a lot of time there a moment ago, but Baltimore, in winning their game, had to come from behind to do it, Ray, and had some fairly new names in that lineup today. They were doing good things.
Fairly new names in the whole ball club.
Pitches low for a ball.
He got rid of a lot of players, a lot of new names, and they've made the change to go to the youth, back to pitching and defense, as the Oriole teams of the past, they were so great because of that.
Nice pickup by Harold Reynolds, and he throws out Dave Parker. So the A's in the 3rd inning scored 2 runs on Martin McGwire's first homer of the year, and after 3, there's the score. The Athletics lead at 3-0.
May I suggest our interest-earning checking account?
No, thank you. I've had one of those. They say they pay you interest, and then they take it away.
Miss Gavin.
They charge me for every check.
Miss Gavin, we don't do that.
Oh, I was standing in line. They charged me. They charged me for using their pens.
Miss Gavin, with this account, you can actually make money.
Do you know they charged me for charging me?
At First Nationwide Bank, we treat you with respect, concern, and understanding. But don't worry, you'll get used to it.
In California, you depend on the phone for business. But can you depend on the company that sold it to you?
I bought this phone system. The salesman says, see you around. Now I've got problems, and they don't want to hear about it.
Guess you're in the phone business.
I sure didn't want to be.
That's the problem with a lot of those phone systems. You buy them, you're on your own.
Yeah, but what's your option?
We've got a Pacific Bell phone system. It's in their office. They keep it up and running. It works. I don't have to worry about it.
Nothing could be that simple.
And take my word for it. Call.
For business phone systems that make it easier to do business, your best call is to call on us. Pacific Bell.
This is KPIX, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose.
Hey, kids, want you to know that the A's are going to take care of you early this year, right off the bat. This Saturday, it's Kids Opening Day, and the A's host the Chicago White Sox, and the first 15,000 kids who are 15 and under will receive an A's activity book, compliments of Wells Fargo. And parents, you can charge tickets for that and all other games tonight. Operators are standing by to take your order. Dave Stewart's been given a 3-0 lead now as he faces Ken Griffey, and we had a scoring change in between innings there. The ball Carney Lansford hit, they ruled at first a hit, or at least the scoreboard flashed that. It turns out it's an error all the way. So Carney does not get a hit on that play. There was no question about McGwire's. Ken Griffey Jr. I wonder if his dad got in that Cincinnati game today. That ball's hit up in the air into left field. And that's going to use up a good part of that area out there, too. As Tony Phillips makes the catch, there's one out.
For the game, actually, after the Mariners had taken batting practice, I was downstairs near the clubhouse area, and there's a payphone outside the clubhouses. He was on the phone. Now, whether he was talking to his father, I don't know who he was talking to, but I'd say there's a pretty good chance he was talking to his father.
Yeah, Cincinnati won a big one today, and Pete Rose got a standing ovation as he was introduced to the crowd. I saw that on television. They had some guy had 4 hits today, including a home run to win it. Alvin Davis takes up high. Joe Fonzie could tell us who that was on his score sheet up there. And I could tell you if I had a better memory. Ball's hit high in the air into deep right field, but too high to go out. Javier's there. And these guys are taking some swings up there in the third inning. And a line drive out to right, a line drive out to center, and a fly ball to left, and now a deep fly ball to left and a deep one to right.
We go back to the second inning. There's 3 fly ball outs then, too.
So Dave's throwing strikes, and he says, if you can hit it out of here, so be it. Up comes Darnell Cole, the cleanup hitter for the Mariners.
On the batting case, the Mariners were hitting. The ball was carrying very well. But the A's were hitting, and then the Mariners, and I said, it's all right, guys, it'll carry now, but when 8 o'clock comes, forget it. They said, well, it'll be a sacrifice fly, though. That was Darnell Cole was making that statement. The ball just won't carry this time of night.
Unless you hit it like McGwire, it's just those line drives.
Line drive's a little different. You get it up in the air, especially left center, right center, which is where Dave Stewart tries to get the hitters to hit the ball.
There are times when the ball McGwire hit in the first inning would have gone out of here. That's the one Ray's talking about. That ball's hit well down the line in left field. It's hooking. He was out of the park, but it's foul. Darnell Cole took a good rip at that one. Interesting story about him, Ray. He was drafted by the Mariners at one time and traded to Seattle by the Pittsburgh Pirates for outfielder Glenn Wilson. Graduate of Eisenhower High School in Rialto, California.
Pretty good football player, too.
Yeah, so many of these players were, well, he was an all-stater in football. So many of these players are great football players, or were. Matter of fact, you're looking at one out on the mound for the A's who was an all-American high school football player, Dave Stewart. And that's strike one. 2 down in the 4th inning. The Athletics are leading the Mariners 3-0.
Now you get more and more football players, or athletes playing football professionally and baseball. Bo Jackson, of course, and young man with the Yankees is going to try to do it.
Well, the A's had a player who was in the early rounds of the NCAA by the name of Hillman of Indiana. Good fork ball, and down goes Cole. Dave Stewart gets his first strikeout of the night. And it's 3 up, 3 down, and Stu is now retired 11 in a row. The score in the middle of the 4th, 3-0 Oakland.
Hi, Larry Huffman for your Jeep Eagle dealers. Each spring, Wally and I travel around looking for great deals on Jeep vehicles. Save up to $1,950 on select Jeep Comanches. Terrific savings right now with a special options package. And Wally, there's even more. Get amazing deals on Grand Wagoneer, plus $1,000 cash back. Incredible deals on the whole Jeep family, everywhere we go. Right, Wally? Only at your California Jeep Eagle dealers.
So you want to be part of Skyhawk Squadron. You'll have 3 G's of power in your hands, and you better know what to do with it. Okay, we need some volunteers. You and you. If you've got the brains and the guts, you'll earn your wings.
Fly Skyhawk, new at Great America. Bring any Coke can to Great America this weekend and save $4 on each general admission.
Every day, people who need to make a little more sense of a complex world
It's here.
turn to the national edition of the New York Times. From world and national news
Greg, it's here.
to business to the new living arts section.
It's here.
Covering your home, your health, your special interests. The national edition of the New York Times. The more you need to know, the more you need the Times. Pick up a copy or call toll-free for Bay Area delivery.
Hey, there's a cap you can get if you come here Sunday. The first 40,000 fans are going to receive a white cotton cap with the 8-8 American League champion scripted across the front in green and gold. Just come Sunday, April 9th, the A's play the White Sox, and you won't be able to buy it anywhere. Well, Joe Fonzie, my memory went on me a while ago. I was talking about that Cincinnati thing. Who was it hit the homer?
I got the answer for you, Monty. It was Kirk Gibson who hit the home run in a losing effort for the Dodgers. One thing that you also mentioned, Ken Griffey Sr. did not play in that ball game for the Cincinnati Reds. So Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. both on the rosters on opening day, but not both in a ball game yet.
All right. See, that guy's handy to have around, right? Thank you, Joe Fonzie. Here is Glenn Hubbard now. Hubbard made a great defensive play in the first inning that probably saved a run, without a doubt. Pops this one up into center field. And there's one down here in the 4th inning.
It's amazing how a play like that can set the stage for not only a whole ball game, but a whole season. That ball's a base hit up the middle. It's a run. Who knows what might have happened? Instead, just kind of turns the whole thing around. Now the A's are up 3-0, and Dave Stewart is pitching like Dave Stewart of old.
Boy, that really helps a pitcher to have something like that behind you. Here's Stan Javier.
That's what Mike Moore is going to see when he pitches for this ball club, too.
Curve is a little low, but they ruled that Javier swung at it. So they strike one. Well, I'm anxious to see Mike Moore pitch, and I know he's anxious to pitch with this ball club. The A's most notable acquisition during the winter. When you're American League champions already and pick up a guy like that, what an addition. I remember being here, just happened to be up here during the winter when that was announced. There's an excited bunch of people around here.
I give a lot of credit to Mike Moore, too. He, I feel, could have made a lot more money going to another ball club. Or, put it this way, if he'd have gone out bidding with a lot of other ball clubs, probably could have made another $1 million. But he said, I want to play for a winner. I want to play for the A's. And he signed right here.
Curve in the dirt. It's ball one, strike two. One down, 4th inning. The Athletics lead 3-0 over the Mariners. Mark McGwire hit a long home run in the 3rd inning to drive in 2. He knocked in 1 run with a sacrifice fly in the 1st. Mariners are not without their own stars, too. Jim Presley, their hard-hitting 3rd baseman, is out right now with an injury. Boy, there are a bunch of big-name players this year, Ray. I think more than ever before. Canseco, of course, here is out. Dave Winfield is out with back surgery. Won't even play, maybe, who knows, the rest of the year. Mattingly's out with a back. He didn't start. Won't be in a Yankees lineup in their opening day. Tie for ball 3. Hershiser got a little cold. I can't imagine a guy not starting with a cold. But
he said it was a flu for the week, for a past week.
Danny Cox of St. Louis is out. Strike 3 call. Javier took one in there on the corner, looked like, and couldn't pull the trigger. So that's the first strikeout for Mark Langston. And I'm sure there'll be many, probably 200 or so more before the year's over. Here's Walt Weiss, the A's shortstop. Right to the 3rd baseman for the 2nd time in a row, and it's 3 up, 3 down here in the 4th inning. But after 4 of the scores, the Athletics 3 and the Mariners nothing.
Hey guys, look who's here.
It's Mr. Most Likely to Succeed.
Hi, Steve. Nice truck.
Bet it cost him a mint.
Nah, it's a Ford Ranger XLT. It has power steering.
So does my Toyota Deluxe.
But my Ranger adds fuel injection, stereo cassette, anti-lock rear brakes, 660 powertrain warranty.
Okay, but who paid less?
I did.
Get 2.9% financing or up to $750 cash bonus on 89 Ford Ranger.
It's brewed from the choicest natural ingredients. It's Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. And best of all, it's for you.
You got the taste, this bud's for
Microclimates, how they affect your weather. Tomorrow at 6 on KPIX Eyewitness News.
Joe Fonzie back at the Oakland Coliseum with just an update of some of the other things going on today in sports. If you haven't heard, the Michigan Wolverines are the NCAA basketball champs as they beat Seton Hall by a score of 80-79. Some other baseball scores that we'll run down quickly for you. It was Baltimore over Boston, 5-4 in 11 innings. in Kansas City. The Toronto Blue Jays were 4-3 winners over the Royals. Gubas are the loser, Jimmy Key the winner, and it was Cleveland with a 2-1 win over Milwaukee, as 40,000 people saw that game in Cleveland. In the National League, the world champion Dodgers lost in Cincinnati 6-4, 55,000 plus at Riverfront Stadium. It was the Mets over St. Louis 8-4. Pedro Guerrero, a 3-run homer in that game, and a losing effort for the Cardinals. And through 6 innings, the Giants are trailing the San Diego Padres that game 3-2. Kevin Mitchell hit a 2-run homer for the Giants in the first. That's been their only scoring. Let's go now to Ray Fosse and Monty Moore.
All right, Joe. Jeffrey Leonard is at the plate now with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes for the Seattle Mariners against Dave Stewart, who has allowed 1 hit, 1 base runner so far. Leonard fouls it off over into the jam-packed crowd.
Kevin Mitchell 4 for 4 in yesterday's ball game, the exhibition game at Candlestick Park between the A's and the Giants. First inning, 2-run home run. The man is hot. He was hot all spring and just continues to be hot.
Jeff Leonard, who had some hot days for the Giants in his own right, takes a breaking ball low at 2-2. He kind of bailed out on that pitch and got enough wood on it to keep it in play over in the stands.
Jimmy Lefebvre feels that by signing Jeffrey Leonard, he can work with him. He was with him before with the San Francisco Giants. He's a hitting coach there, and he feels he's going to have a good year. And playing in the King Dome in Seattle, he has the power. He can put some home runs up.
That pitch didn't miss by much right there. 3-2. First base umpire Rick Reed, at whom you're looking right there, is asked to make a call. Well, here's the first 3-ball count that Stu's had to come back on. It's fouled away. Now, President Bush threw out the first ball in Baltimore today and made a pretty good pitch. He's got a good arm. Left-hander. But he must have learned his baseball sitting from the LA fans. He left in about the 6th inning. Carney knocks it down, but there'll be no play. Jeffrey Leonard is on with a base hit. Various people get the honor of throwing the ball out. First ball of the season. We'll look at this one again.
Carney Lansford, a diving effort. Had he caught the ball, I don't know that he'd been able to get up in time to throw Jeffrey Leonard out, but by knocking the ball down, he saved a possible double to lead off this 5th inning.
We mentioned President Bush throwing it out in Baltimore. Johnny Bench threw it out in Cincinnati, and guess who threw it out here in Oakland tonight? Some of you were watching basketball and didn't see it. Great big fat guy threw it out. I mean a big fat guy. We won't tell you who it is. We're just going to show you here in a few minutes, and I can tell you one thing. He missed a little spring training this year.
Did you say fat guy?
Fat. Yeah, big fat. And he's got to have a little more work on his underarm delivery. Duck's got to work on him, get him up over the top a little better. 1-0 count on Greg Briley, rookie left fielder. Strike on the outside corner. Good pitch. Boy, they had fireworks here tonight. And the flag raising, it was a very colorful, very impressive ceremony. Pre-game, awards went to Canseco as the MVP, and Weiss as Rookie of the Year, Orusa Manager of the Year. Walter Haas got the American League Championship trophy. Pitch is high and outside, ball 3. Nobody out here in the 5th inning. This could be a big pitch right now in this ball game. He lost him, and now the potential tying run comes to the plate. David retired 11 batters in a row. Here's the first pitch, as thrown out by a big celebrity, and there it is. Now they put a ball in that guy's phone.
Gotcha.
He'd rather hit. So he's got a bat. He's taking a bat. He said, heck with that pitching. He tried to throw that ball and didn't get it very far. But as bringing back the elephant as the A's did last year as a team symbol. Had, of course, the reason for that one. It's high for a ball. I don't know where you go to borrow an elephant. There's not a circus around anywhere.
Those numbers: 1 home run, 4 RBIs career for Dave Valley against the Athletics. He has the power.
That could be 2 right there. To Weiss, they've got him there over the first, and he gets the pair. Double play. Shoot, that was an easy one there.
Well, after Dave Stewart walking Greg Briley on 3-1, he gets the pitch that Dave Valley hits right to Glenn Hubbard at second, and Taylor made double play. And I tell you, when you have the defense that the A's pitchers have behind them, just put the ball in play, put it on the ground, pretty good chance they're going to turn the double play.
Here's Edgar Martinez, the third baseman, who lined out to Javier in right his first time up. Led the Pacific Coast League in hitting last year. Oh, that's a ball low. He really holds that bat out over the plate, doesn't he?
Cousin of Carmelo Martinez, San Diego Padres. Pretty good ball player for the Padres.
Little looper down the line in right. Javier won't get there. It's a base hit, and the Mariners have a run. Oh, Martinez drives in the first run of the season for the Mariners. And it's 3-1.
Well, it's not a matter of how hard you hit them, it's where you hit them, and placed it perfectly, and there's nobody going to be able to get to that ball. If that's the importance of the double play ball, to at least eliminate one of the guys, or just inside the foul line on around right field, Stan Javier, instead of trying to go for that ball and allowing Martinez to go to second, very wisely held up short on it and got the ball back in.
Omar Vizquel, rookie shortstop. A little overmatched on that fourth ball. It's 0-2. What a tough pitch that is to hit. Two misses outside. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
As we've talked before with Dave Stewart, from that angle, you can see him when he is set up to throw the forkball. You see the split of the fingers. You see the white showing between the first 2 fingers.
The ball's fouled out of play in the right field corner.
The thing is, because he throws it at various speeds, he can throw it every pitch, especially to a left-hander who he likes to throw it to. He has not thrown that many this ball game, and I could see him just continue to throw it to the left-handers, trying to establish it a little bit more for this ball game.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. It's a 3-1 game. Oakland leading. This ball is fouled off again by Vizquel. Walt Weiss, easy flip over to Hubbard for the forced play on Martinez coming in. And the Mariners get 1 run on their 2 hits and leave them in the middle of the ball game. It's 3-1 Oakland.
The BMW 325i. For about $25,000, why settle for an imitation when you can own the original? Introducing the new BMW 535i, the car that recalibrates the performance sedan benchmark, now awaits your test drive.
Dad loved being a doctor so much, we really never thought he'd retire. After half a lifetime at Kaiser Permanente, all the people he's cared for, the people who care for him. Just seeing all that, I've always known exactly what I've wanted to do and where.
As a member of Kaiser Permanente, you can have a personal physician. One like Dr. Steve Gordon. Kaiser Permanente, good people, good medicine.
They must be breeding chickens on Mars. I mean, how else could you explain all those processed chicken patty sandwiches? They're like unidentified frying objects. Where I come from, you know, planet Earth, chicken doesn't look like that. Looks like this, an identifiable chicken breast.
A boneless chicken breast, grilled, not fried. The new grilled chicken filet at Jack in the Box. For exciting new taste, this is the place.
That's chicken I can identify with.
Well, we are going to be televising a lot of games with the A's this year, and there's a chance for you to see 3 road games in a row on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights, April 10th, 11th, and 12th, with the California Angels. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see young Jim Abbott, who was quite a story for the Angels this year. As a matter of fact, Ray, did you see where he beat the varsity 13-1?
Yes, he did. 6 innings.
Yeah, they gave him a AAA ball club behind him, just gave him a tune-up. He beat the Angels 13-1. Here's Tony Phillips. He started it off for the Athletics in the first inning with a double, and he scored a run.
Well, he scheduled a pitch on Saturday for his first start, so then we might miss him. No, Thursday. Might seem shaky.
Swing, bouncing ball in fair territory, and Phillips is a dead duck. He didn't know whether to run or what.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you want to know what these guys play so hard for? They do get a lot of money, but there's the big thing. That's the A's American League Championship ring for this year, presented by the Haas family and the Athletics to the players in a special party down in spring training. Nice looking ring, isn't it, Ray?
It is. Broadcast partners on the radio side, Bill King and Lon Simmons, master of ceremonies for that, or actually did the award presentation, and they did an outstanding job bringing back a lot of great memories from the 1988 season.
Boy, and Bill had tough luck with his here on Saturday. He had his ring on, and we were having lunch. He came up about 20 minutes later, and during the first inning of the broadcast, he looked down on his finger. Dave Henderson is the guy at the plate right now, and there's nothing, you can see nothing but a hole. He lost the set out of that ring somewhere between the dressing room and the press box, and he hasn't found it yet. Hindu takes a strike. It's 2-1. There's somewhere somebody, I hope, found a beautiful set with the A's logo encrusted in diamonds. Meanwhile, Bill's got an ugly ring. Air conditioned, to say the least. 2-2.
Thing is, the name is on the side of the ring. He still has it.
He's got the ring.
So you can't really tell whose it is. So if you have it out there, it's Bill King's. Whoever found it.
Well, that's happened on occasion. Bill was telling us that when the Warriors got theirs that year, they lost 4 the first week. Henderson fouls this one away. You got to get some denture cream or something, but that just sets in there a little better than they are.
Well, I asked Hindu if he was still leader in the neighborhood. He and Mark Langston, neighbors up in the Seattle area.
There's a line drive to left field, a base hit. Dave Henderson's got his first hit of the year.
And Hindu said, sure I am. I own him. I'm hitting about 380 off of it. Of course, last year, a year ago right now, he had a home run off of it, opening night.
Of course, Dave played at Seattle and was up there and started in 4 opening night games for Seattle. Never really hit his stride up there. Traded away to Boston. Had the big hit for them, but never really hit it there. But boy, he hit it last year for the A's. Here's Carney Lansford. Bunts it foul. Well, we found out watching Polonia in the Bay Bridge series, if you can get that ball down in that grass, it's going to stay fair and it's not going to roll much. He got a tough one to bunt right there. That high pitch is a tough ball to bunt. 1 strike to count. The score 3-1. Oakland leading Seattle. Dave playing a little game. He is a fun guy. I'll tell you, everything he does with a flair. Carney waiting and waiting on that curveball. Asked Dave Henderson the other night. He enjoyed the winter, and he said all 20 minutes of it. These guys were all pretty busy during the winter, I think.
Yeah, getting in shape for this year.
Yeah. 2 strikes to count on Carney Lansford, 1 out in the 5th inning. That could be double trouble right there. They get the double play. Well, that's all for the Athletics in the 5th inning. And the score remains the same. The A's 3 and the Mariners 1.
No matter how hard you work, you're out of business when your business phone system goes down.
Hey, Bob, where are you going? I gotta leave. Now? The phone system's down at the office. I gotta find a cab and go back there. You're kidding. What else am I gonna do?
Call Pacific Bell. Get a Centrex system. It doesn't go down because it's monitored 24 hours a day.
Sure, who's gonna do that?
They do. It's all in Pacific Bell's office. They take care of everything. After all, you got better things to do with your time, don't you?
I'll call him.
For the most reliable business phone systems ever made, your best call is to call on us. Pacific Bell.
Tired of seeing your bank behind closed doors? Walk into the only major California bank open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. Wells Fargo Bank.
Frank. I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Because everything else is just a light.
We can live with that.
Yeah.
The number to call for A's tickets and all major Northern California entertainment, 415-762-BASS. Until 9 o'clock every day, credit cards are accepted over the phone for ticket purchases, and you can call for Tix and at most Bass Ticketmaster centers. Bass Ticketmaster, 100 neighborhood locations, including the warehouse and Tower Records Video. Well, they really dress up for opening night here. That's the grounds crew here at the Oakland Coliseum, dressed up in tuxedos. You got the elevator man in a tux tonight. And here's Harold Reynolds against Dave Stewart. Fouled off, and that's strike 2. Reynolds tonight is flying to center and flying to left. When he goes to Kansas City, I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't booed a little bit, because they feel down there that Frank White should have been given the Gold Glove Award last year in the American League. Not that he hasn't won one before. He's won about 9. But Reynolds got it, and the people in Kansas City during the winter at a banquet presented Frank White with their own version of the Gold Glove. That's emblematic of the best defensive player, and is chosen by the managers and coaches, by the way. Started to go, did he? He did. Punched him out. Reynolds is a strikeout victim on the fork ball, and that was a good one.
And that's exactly what the fork ball does. It'll get you check swinging a lot, and umpire, you get the appeal as Terry Steinbach first of all made sure he blocked the ball, caught it, then appealed to third base. You can see this fork ball going down. Steiny getting down, blocking the ball, actually catching the ball.
On the hop.
Getting the appeal from third base umpire, who is Dale Scott, and then he tagged Howard Reynolds for the out.
And here's Ken Griffey Jr. Curveball strike. He has hit 2 long fly balls, 1 for a double. Right to the base of the wall, his first time up in the major leagues. 19 years old. #1 draft choice of the Mariners last year. He did not go that time, says Dale Scott, the third base umpire.
I guess Jimmy Lefevre kind of had Ken Griffey Jr. sweating when he called him in his office to tell him that he had made the club. But he actually said, "This is the hardest decision of my life." And I'm sure Griff thought that he's going to be sent down. He said, "You made the ball club." So Jimmy able to drag it out a little bit, but he deserved it. He got a chance to play and played very well for the Mariners.
Well, he hit almost 400 all spring. Count is 3-1 on him now. That's ball 4. Dave has walked a couple of batters now. He walked 1 in the 5th inning. He has struck out 2.
We talked about Stu trying to minimize the number of pitches. He has to this point thrown 89 pitches, and with that last one and that walk, the A's bullpen is starting to get active as right-hander Gene Nelson starting to throw. And Stu, during that period of time, the 2nd through the 4th, when he had those 8 consecutive fly ball outs, the Mariner hitters just getting under those balls, and now they're not swinging at them and resulting in base on balls.
You can never tell from up here about the velocity for sure. Of course, the A's bench is well aware of the speed of every pitch that Dave throws because they have someone taking that and relaying it to them. But it doesn't look tonight as if he might be as fast as I've seen him before. Pitch is a little high for a ball. It's 1-0. Alvin Davis twice has flied out to right field. There's a football down in 2 minutes. 2 balls and no strikes. Dave Duncan's going out to talk to Stu, who retired 11 batters in a row from the 1st inning through the 4th, and then Jeff Leonard got a base hit to start the 5th. He walked the batter, then got the double play, which helped him out of a big inning before Edgar Martinez got a 2-out single to drive in the Mariners' run. Struck out Reynolds to start this 6th inning, and now all of a sudden he's walked Griffey and has gone to 2-0 count on Davis, and it's a tough part of the batting order to go 2-0.
One thing about Dave Duncan is an excellent pitching coach, and talking to him yesterday at Candlestick as far as what he notices or tries to notice on the sidelines, and he said he has a mental picture of every pitcher on his staff and what they should be throwing. The mechanics, the way they should be throwing. He said if one little thing is off, he's able to detect it and go out and talk to the pitcher. Perhaps that he saw something Dave Stewart was doing wrong.
Dragged on the grass to Weiss, to Hubbard, who drops the ball. Everybody's safe. He knew he was going to have to hurry to get Leonard because the ball got to Weiss very slowly. But Weiss got it to Hubbard perfectly, right on the bag, and Hub just dropped the ball.
Might have been a play that Walt Weiss could have taken himself, only right there, though. No, he was far enough from it. But
right fielder
as Ken Griffey Jr. was coming into it, he was coming across the bag, but you'd see his head had turned towards first base. He uses a very small glove anyway, and perhaps the ball hit right in the pocket, and he didn't squeeze it quickly enough, and it dropped out.
Oh, now Dave has really got to go to work. That would have gotten him out of the inning, and now he's got to pitch to the cleanup man with a tying men on base. Breaking ball outside to Coles. He struck Coles out in the 4th inning, got him on a grounder to 2nd in the 1st. There's a drive to left field, hit pretty deep down the line. Out of the park, foul. And that was close, folks.
Well, he's trying to get it out there. That's the last at bat. He did the same thing. Ended up striking out, but Dave Stewart still getting the ball up in the strike zone. And that's where you're going to get in trouble more than anything.
You got to get this ball somehow away from him so he can't pull it. 1 ball, 1 strike. The A's lead it 3-1, as you can see. But the Mariners and the A's were 2 of the hottest teams to finish spring training. The A's won, what, their last 7, Ray?
Yes.
7 in a row, and the Mariners won 6 of their last 7. So they both finished spring training with good momentum. Oh, he had a good cut at that pitch right there.
Oh, we've seen Dave Stewart get in these situations where miscue by perhaps one of his fielders, and he bears down, and this is when he probably works as hard as any pitcher I've ever seen. He doesn't criticize anybody. He just says, give me the ball. I'll do the job to get out of the mess.
Coles hit 15 homers last year between Pittsburgh and Seattle. Base hit left field. Griffey's going to score, and the throw will go to third base. It's a 3-2 ball game. Well, Coles was getting some awfully good swings that time up there.
Now batting, designated hitter Jeffrey Leonard.
And Tony La Russa coming out, so that's going to be all for Dave Stewart tonight. Gene Nelson has been heating up, and he's ready to come in the ball game. I think this could be just a matter of the number of pitches that Dave Stewart has thrown to this point.
Well, he's walked only 2 and struck out only 2, and ordinarily those are the 2 factors where you get a lot of strikeouts, but it's just that he really hasn't had his real good stuff in the last 2 innings, and they went as long as he could go. So he leaves with a lead, and we're going to leave right now for a few minutes. We'll be right back. Gene Nelson coming on. The score 3-2 Oakland.
Until I moved here, I never realized how every block is like a small town. There's a nice corner market. Everybody meets at the coffee shop. My landlady, Lillian, she keeps her eye on everything, including me, the newcomer, up here alone with some boxes and a suitcase.
Come on, you're not alone. You got your phone and you got me.
Before you move, one call to AT&T helps put everything in place so you can feel right at home.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
AT&T, we take you right there and keep you this close.
You are about to witness a demonstration of our latest scratcher. A demonstration designed to show how we've made every prize instant, including every trip to the big spin. This demonstration was conducted on a stage using special effects and a lot of professional-looking people. We highly recommend you try this at home.
Jeep Racing Team, the winningest team in off-road racing, goes nowhere without Craftsman tools. From their durable precision power tools to hand tools that are guaranteed forever. So, make sure it's a Craftsman, because you don't want to get stuck with anything else.
The new pitcher for the A's is a guy who was a workhorse last year. There are his stats.
54 appearances for right-hander Gene Nelson, a record of 9 wins and 6 losses. Just a little over a 3 earned run average. But his job and his role in the bullpen for the Athletics has come in this situation, middle part of the ball game, to get as far as the setup, part of the setup to get down to Dennis Eckersley, the closer, and he has his work cut out for him right now as Mariners first and second with only 1 runner out, or 1 batter out in this 6th inning.
Well, he needs what the A's missed a moment ago. That's the double play ball. Jeff Leonard has had 1 hit tonight and scored 1 run. Kino starts him off missing outside, ball 1. Nelson worked last year in 54 games, and 54 the year before, and 54 the year before that. Leonard's trying to hit that one out of here. Nelson has one of the better changeups in baseball, and he might have him set up for one right here. He really took a rip at that ball. Came back inside on him and missed with it. It's ball 2. Well, the A's have had 4 hits, and the Mariners have had 4. One of the A's was a 2-run homer by Mark McGwire. Foul down. It's 2-2. Well, the Giants have taken the lead over the Padres 5-3 in the 8th inning.
Well, I hope they don't think about the 9th inning like they did against the A's.
Yeah, the Giants had some problems getting out of the 8th and 9th innings against Oakland this year. Hopped it foul back into the seats. Mariners have Alvin Davis at second and Darnell Coles at first. A missed double play here in the 6th inning, which would have ended the inning. That put the A's in some trouble. There's the changeup, and he left him up there. Well, he may have one of the best ones in baseball.
But he has the perfect motion for it, as anybody who has a good changeup throws it with the same motion as a fastball, and you get a power hitter looking fastball and you pull the string on him. That's what happens. You don't look that nice when you're swinging through it.
And it brings on Greg Briley, the left fielder, who's flied to right and walked in the game. Strike call. Briley's not very big. For the breaking ball, it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tony La Russa used his bullpen very effectively last year. You mentioned Gene Nelson, 54 appearances. All the relievers had about the same number of appearances. Able to work them about the same number of times.
Trying to pitch, strike 2. One like that, you're better off if you don't swing at it.
That's right.
You don't look bad.
Unless it's strike 3, and you're going to be hacking at it.
Then you look a little bad. 1-2 the count now on Briley.
Thing is, he has such a good changeup. He can throw it 2 or 3 times in a row. It doesn't mean if you make a guy look bad, you can't come right back with the same pitch.
He did it, and he left him up there. Well, that's what Gene Nelson does so well. Out of the bullpen in the middle innings. He struck out Leonard and Briley with the tying and go-ahead runs on the bases, and the A's keep their 3-2 lead.
Hey guys, look who's here.
It's Mr. Most Likely to Succeed.
Hi, Steve. Nice truck.
Bet it cost him a mint.
Nah, it's a Ford Ranger XLT. It has power steering.
So does my Toyota Deluxe.
But my Ranger adds fuel injection, stereo cassette, anti-lock rear brakes, 660 powertrain warranty.
Okay, but who paid less?
I did.
Get 2.9% financing or up to $750 cash bonus on '89 Ford Ranger.
When you started driving, you pretended your car was real.
Come on, Joey, faster!
Now you wish your real car were as little trouble as that old soapbox. We can't promise that, but we can offer a gasoline that can give a smoother ride. Our 92 octane, the highest level octane out there.
Fill her up.
Sure, Murph. Give us the best you got. And check the oil, too.
Will that be cash or credit, gentlemen?
Introducing the 3 new chicken sandwiches from Burger King.
Ah, il panino italiano di pollo con la salsa marinara e mozzarella. Sono innamorato.
Le sandwich français au poulet avec ce jambon et ce fromage suisse.
The American chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and American cheese. Let's do lunch.
Try the 3 new chicken sandwiches from Burger King.
Hey, next Sunday, the A's play the White Sox, and the first 40,000 people who come into the ballpark are going to get one of those caps right there. You won't be able to buy that cap anywhere, so the only place you can get it is right here at the ballpark. And you can charge tickets tonight. Get your tickets for that game Sunday by calling any of the Bass numbers that you see on the screen. Operators are standing by right now. They'll take your order for all the tickets you want. This Sunday, the A's and the White Sox, it's championship cap day. Well, here's one of the guys who was instrumental in bringing that championship to the Bay Area, Mark McGwire, and he has driven in all 3 Oakland runs tonight. And Langston throws that ball away from Mark by quite a bit on the first pitch. There's a little looper in the center field. They're playing him so deep it may drop. It does. Griffey made a nice stride, but he was playing over there somewhere around the mountains.
When you have that kind of strength, you get the respect of your outfielders. And, of course, Jimmy Lefevre and his coaching staff moving the outfielders and the infielders, as all clubs do now. But Griffey playing very deep as well as Briley in left field. And very easy for a ball like that to fall in.
So Mark McGwire's on to start it for the A's in the 6th inning, and here comes Terry Steinbach, who has walked and flying to left field. The A's have had 4 hits, a double by Phillips, single by Henderson, home run and single by McGwire, and now Javier also had a hit, and Steinbach swinging on the first pitch, pops it up in the center. Griffey has it, 1 out.
I was talking to pitching coach Mike Paul, now the Seattle Mariners, formerly with the A's last year. And you see right-hander Mike Jackson warming up down in the bullpen for the Seattle Mariners. But I was asking him about Mark Langston. I said, because we didn't see him all spring. And he said, well, there was a reason for that. He said, we didn't want him to pitch against the A's in the spring. Last spring, in '88, he faced the A's 3 times during spring training, and then saw him opening night and got beat. So he said, we got to make some changes here. So there was only one scheduled time that Langston was supposed to face the A's. They put him in a B game instead so they wouldn't have to see the A's.
Parker hits a double play ball to the shortstop, almost knocks him down, picks it up, does get the man at second. Vizquel almost got knocked down on that drive. It'll be a fielder's choice force out of McGwire at second.
Dave Parker going the other way with the ball, and Vizquel, I tell you, a bad hop right there. And I think as he is down on the ground, he dropped the ball. He's thinking, he's saying, I'm glad I'm not hurt, because that ball could have very easily hit him in the head, or in the face. And you see the ball come right up. Good hands. He has played very good defense all spring for the Mariners, so Jimmy Lefevre not afraid to put him in the lineup, as Ray Quinones is on the disabled list.
Hubbard grounded to short, flying to center field tonight. Mark Langston, 15-game winner for a last-place team last year. The curveball in there. A lot of talk that the Mariners may try to trade Langston sometime during this year, because he can become a free agent next year. If they don't trade him this year, they'll get nothing at all for him next year. And it's doubtful in the eyes of some that they could come up with enough money up there to sign this guy. He's going to be going for a bundle.
They're kind of cut up now, throwing for the Athletics.
Hubbard pops it up off first base. Should be caught this time, and Alvin Davis has got it, and the A's do not do anything in the 6th. Well, they got to try to hold on. There's the score. Athletics 3, the Mariners 2.
People thought I was crazy, starting medical school at 29 with 3 kids, but I was determined to be a doctor. Now Julie wants to be an engineer, Christina wants to be a writer, and this week, Jason sees a future in skateboarding.
Not my board. You gonna hold it right for me?
But we're working on him.
As a member of Kaiser Permanente, you can have a personal physician. One like Dr. Norma Bozzini. Kaiser Permanente. Good people, good medicine.
May I suggest our interest-earning checking account?
No, thank you. I've had one of those. They say they pay you interest, and then they take it away.
Miss Gavin.
They charge me for every check.
Miss Gavin, we don't do that.
Oh, I was standing in line. They charged me. They charged me for using their pens.
Miss Gavin, with this account, you can actually make money.
Do you know they charged me for charging me?
At First Nationwide Bank, we treat you with respect, concern, and understanding. But don't worry, you'll get used to it.
The great moves and all the great looks are within your reach. Suzuki, the ride you've been waiting for.
little bit more conditioning. Joe Fonzie back at the Coliseum where the A's are leading the Mariners by a score of 3-2. We've got a bird's eye view all of a sudden. And we're here with Terry Chrisman, who is one of the A's batting practice pitchers. He's also the baseball coach at Skyline College, and he also charts every pitch that the pitchers throw for both teams. Now, what he does here is he has a radar gun, and he also charts the location of the pitches. And Terry, can you tell when a pitcher's starting to tire, obviously by the speed, but also because of his location?
Basically, it's more location than speed, but the velocity usually doesn't start dropping off like for Dave probably after about 80, 85 pitches. And that's what Dave Duncan wants to find out about Dave Stewart.
Now, Stewart, as he started to tire last inning and the A's took him out of the ballgame, you said that at the beginning of the game he was in the upper 90s and maybe, or I should say the upper 80s and maybe low 90s. What was he throwing when they started to take him out?
He had dropped off to about 84, 85, just a little. That's not very much, but it just takes a little bit of difference for the batter to be able to get around the ball.
All right, Dave Valley has just started it off for the Seattle Mariners with a base hit onto left field off Gene Nelson. It's the 7th inning. The Athletics lead it by a score of 3-2, and Edgar Martinez comes on now, and we're getting toward the time of the ball game when we'll be seeing Jimmy Lefebvre start to do his thing as a manager to try to manufacture that tying run and see what else they can do. They have hung in here very tough against Dave Stewart.
Well, the main thing he's doing in the dugout is pumping these guys up because they've battled back. They're only one run down, and I'm sure he's telling them, hey, can get them right now.
Yeah, it's in there for a call strike. Joe, could you find out from Terry what the speed is on the change-ups that Nelson threw, like back in the 6th inning? His change-up, how fast did that come up there, or how slow?
Ask him about that. Terry, that last changeup that we saw Gene Nelson throw where it looked like the pitch almost backed up. What was the speed there compared to when he's throwing his fastball?
That was 74 miles an hour, and his fastball runs anywhere from 86 to about 88. So anywhere from 12 to 15 miles an hour slower. And that's what obviously is taking the rhythm away from the hitter. And the change of pace of what it's called is tries to get the hitter out in front. That's exactly what happened.
We'll try to chart a couple of his pitches now as he throws. If we have a shot of the radar gun here, we'll see two numbers. We'll see a faster number or a larger number and then a smaller one. It also records the speed of the catcher's throw back to the pitcher, so that's kind of an interesting thing to watch.
Driving to right center. Look where the A's are playing him. Henderson got him. Started to throw to first, decided not to. Boy, the A's had him positioned exactly perfectly. Martinez hit it right there, and here's a guy who hadn't even been in the league very much.
That's what advanced scouts do, and I know that Renee Latchman, his charts, Dave Duncan, his charts, all the charts these coaches do, they have spotted him someplace. Somebody was watching him in Calgary last year, I'm sure, and had scouting reports on how he hits.
Speaking of advanced scouts, I saw Johnny McNamara here tonight, and it seems strange to see him around a ballpark without a baseball uniform, but he is the advanced scout for Seattle. Pop fly ball in the right center field. That's going to be Javier taking this one. And there are 2 down in the 7th inning.
Saw Mac over Candlestick yesterday. He said this is the first time since 1955 that he has not been in a uniform.
Wow.
That's a bunch of years. But he said he's enjoying it. He said
he said I earned it. That's the way he told me.
But he said he feels good about it, and you start questioning whether you even want to try to get back in uniform. I'm sure he'll have the opportunity if something happens to the ball club as the season progresses.
Here's Harold Reynolds now with 2 out and a runner at first base in the 7th inning. 3-2. Oakland is leading. And Nelson missed it outside for ball 1. Joe Fonzie's downstairs with the A's charting crew. Anytime you want to jump in there, Joe, just jump right in, man. We run a loose ship around here.
Terry Steinbach calling the changeup. Fooled me because it's a fastball. I guess he shook him off because a lot of times a pitcher will just stare in if he doesn't want the sign. Yeah, that was an 86, Monty, that the fastball by Nelson that time.
86 miles an hour. Thank you, Joe. You drop that thing off 12 miles an hour, you're going to catch a guy on the front foot. Like the change right there, was it, Joe?
Breaking pitch at 75 miles an hour, so he had Reynolds looking a little bit at that one. That was a straight change. You see Terry Steinbach just wiggle his fingers, and that's without a runner at second base is usually the change-up sign.
Strike in the inside corner, 2-2. Well, you mentioned that the radar gun also times the throw back from the catcher to the pitcher. That could be a pretty good sign. If the catcher's throwing it back faster to the pitcher than the pitcher's throwing it in, it's time to make a change, isn't it?
I was going to ask Terry about that. Have you ever had any time where the catcher's throwing the ball back faster than the pitcher?
Hope not. Yeah, but especially when somebody like Quisenberry was throwing, that might happen.
Bouncing ball right side. Hubbard's got it. Steps on second himself. And then retires the side.
There's some pitches that might happen. Maybe if Monty was pitching, it might happen.
Thanks, Terry, a lot. All right, the score, the A's lead it 3-2.
These are just some of the people who bought cars before visiting a Nissan dealer for his spring sales drive. They didn't know they could get a Sentra for 0 down and $750 cash back, or a hard body for 0 down and $750 cash back. They didn't realize they could get special financing or $1,000 cash back on selected models. So don't miss the Nissan spring sales drive. It could save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches. See your nearest Nissan dealer now.
Tide's been coming in here long before any man came to these shores. But these mighty rocks stand fast, big and strong. Well, that's the kind of strength folks have been counting on for over 100 years with Great Western. You see, Great Western is built on a solid base of over $32 billion in assets and backed by the security of federal insurance. So if you want a bank that'll make your money grow safely, come to Great Western Bank. We'll be standing big and strong, no matter how the tides change.
We're still behind the plate with Terry Crispin charting the pitches for the A's. Terry, we talked about the radar gun, but you also chart a number of other things here as well, don't you?
Yeah, yes, we do a couple of things for Merv Rettman, the new hitting instructor. We keep track of the counts that Langston is throwing, what he counts on. He throws on 0-0, what on 0-1, 0-2. And also we use this as a home plate area to see where he's actually throwing the hitters. Like first pitch to Stan was up and away with a fastball. And what we try to find is if there's any particular pattern, how they're going to throw certain hitters. And we probably know that anyway, but just to make sure that we're on top of things.
Have you ever had to talk to somebody and do this at the same time?
No, this is this is one of the first times. But I think I'm holding up pretty good. We'll find out when it's all over when they tell me how many I missed.
Count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Stan Javier, leading it off for the A's. He'll be followed by Walt Weiss, and the curve from Langston is down and in for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. What's been the fastest pitch thrown tonight, Joe? See if you can find that out for us. Has it been by Langston or by Stewart? Fouled away. 2-2. Well, Cleveland a winner today, Baltimore a winner today, and Toronto a winner today. Starting to go, he did, says the first base umpire Rick Reed, and Stan Javier is a strikeout victim. That was such a sharp pitch right there. Hard to lay off it.
That's what you try to do with a hard breaking ball. It looks like a fastball when it's coming in, but all of a sudden the bottom drops out of it, and more times than not, you're going to get the check swing, and in that case, a strikeout.
Mark Langston has struck out only 2 batters tonight. Actually, 1 batter twice. Here's Walt Weiss. Strike right down the middle. Walt is grounded to third twice tonight. It's been a Mark McGwire offensive production for the A's here as he's driven in all 3 runs. Curve, strike 2 to Weiss, and Langston is cranking it up very well here tonight. He has hit 1 batter and walked 1. So he's had very fine control. Curve low to Walt.
After the Mariners in their half of the 8th inning, they are leading off with King Griffey and Alvin Davis to follow him, both left-handers, and Rick Honeycutt is throwing quite hard in the A's bullpen. Chances are he might come in to start that 8th inning.
Weiss to the third baseman again. Martinez makes a full 360 and throws him out, and they're 2 away. And we'll be back to the top of the batting order for Tony Phillips, who's had 1 hit tonight and 3 trips to the plate.
Tony Phillips.
Each team has had 5 hits in the game. There'll be no game tomorrow, but Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, Bob Welch pitches for the A's against Scott Bankhead for Seattle here at the Coliseum in Oakland. Strike called. Good live fastball there. Thursday is a 12:15 start time. Businessman special, and Storm Davis goes for the A's. Mike Campbell for Seattle.
I have to think that Mark Langston's getting up in the pitch count also. Dave Stewart threw 96 pitches in his 5+ innings.
Phillips takes strike 2.
Langston also has taken some high counts, and Mike Jackson throwing down in the bullpen. He's up for the 2nd inning in a row.
Here's the curveball, and Tony had a good whack at it. Don't see a lot of 9-inning pitching performances this time of year.
Don't see them all year.
Yeah, anymore you don't, do you?
Not that many anymore, no. And you have such a good bullpen, as most clubs, or a lot of clubs do anyway, you don't really have to.
Tony fouled that one right back up to the bat. Ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. The A's have had only 2 well-scattered singles since the 3rd inning homer by McGwire. And Phillips is giving him a battle.
Tony Phillips worked hard all winter with Matt Newton, who is down in Phoenix, and he runs a spring training conditioning program for the A's.
He's up here right now.
Yes, he is. Came in for opening night. Saw him in the outfield taking some fly balls and playing catch. He's improved tremendously with his baseball skills.
To the shortstop, Vizquez, and he throws him out to Vizquez. And the A's go 1, 2, 3. And Dennis Eckersley has just gotten up to start throwing as the left-hander Honeycutt is coming in. We played 7 at the Coliseum. It's 3-2 Oakland.
I'd like to thank all of the designated drivers here tonight.
What is the taste of dry? It's bold, clean, and less sweet. The taste of dry is Michelob Dry, brewed longer, so taste after taste, there's just no aftertaste. Michelob Dry, bold taste with no aftertaste.
Thinning hair. It's a problem most of us will face. But now Revlon has the solution. New Nutrisome supplement. Nutrisome is scientifically proven to make your hair thicker and healthier looking.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air Letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air Letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
The Johnsons' first house was the biggest investment they'd ever made, so they wanted the best homeowners insurance that they could find. I'm State Farm agent John Caldwell. After Terry and Barbara checked around, they came to State Farm. They found the protection they wanted at the right price, plus the personal service people expect from a State Farm agent. One day they may find a house they like better, but they'll never find a better homeowner's insurance value.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
1 week from tonight, it'll be our next telecast here on the A's TV network, as we'll be in Anaheim to do the Angels and the A's series Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week's 7 o'clock every night. So put those dates down on your calendar, and we hope you'll join us for Oakland A's television on the road. Rick Honeycutt comes on, Ray.
Well, the plan of Tony La Russa, as you mentioned in the A's half of the 7th, Rick Honeycutt coming in to face the 2 left-handers, Ken Griffey Jr. and Alvin Davis. He is in another outstanding performance by one of the A's record-setting relievers last year. 55 appearances for Rick. Good walk to strikeout ratio. And he is coming in primarily to get the two left-handers out. And as Darnell Coles comes up, I would think that right-hander Dennis Eckersley would be coming in the ball game, unless perhaps maybe the first two don't get on base. Tony Russo might have him face Coles, although he's swinging the bat very well tonight.
Griffey didn't have a real good cut at that curveball from Honeycutt. Honeycutt was in more games last year than he'd ever been. Of course, he's always been a starter just about in his baseball career, and he pitched only 79 innings in those 55 outings. He's thrown 2 good sliders in a row to Griffey, and the 19-year-old star is down in the count at 0-2. This is the 8th inning. Opening night, 1989. The American League champion Oakland Athletics. Fastball. Thinking that Griffey might be leaning a little bit. Threw that fastball in on him. I'll bet that's the last fastball that Griffey sees.
Probably a setup for a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate.
And there it is. He did not swing, says the third base umpire, Dale Scott. So the count goes to 2-2 to Griffey.
Well, Rick Honeycutt, as a former starter, has 2 breaking balls, as he did as a starter. He has a curveball and a slider. Curveball he'll throw a lot of times to the right-handed hitters. The slider more to the left-handers. Well, the second strike looked like a slower version of the curveball.
Griffey fouled that one away.
If you're a hitter right now, you're left-handed facing Rick Honeycutt, you have to be looking breaking ball and trying just to fight off the fastball. And trying to take the breaking ball to left field, the opposite field in this case for Griffin.
Well, he started his major league career tonight with a line drive double to the base of the wall in the first inning. He's got a run in the first and 2 in the third. Mark McGwire hit a home run in the 3rd inning, in case you joined us late. Let you know that. Griffey had a better cut at that curveball. It was a little bit more to the middle of the plate.
Well, a 2-2 count, you're getting to the point where you can't necessarily throw the ball towards the outside part of the plate and have it break in the ball zone. Because if the guy holds up, the hitter holds up, then it's ball 3. So Honeycutt has to bring the breaking ball in a little bit more towards the middle of the plate. As a result, giving a pitch better to hit for him.
Well, he's throwing them all breaking balls. Ken Griffey Jr. from Donora, Pennsylvania. First round choice of the Mariners in 1987. He played at Bellingham that year and hit .320 with 14 homers. Last year played at San Bernardino at .338 at 11 homers. Well, he keeps fouling that curveball off.
This is called a cat and mouse game, because as a hitter, you're up there saying, well, is he going to throw me a fastball? And as a catcher, you start saying, well, seeing all these breaking balls, maybe you can sneak a fastball by him. So you get a lot of minds thinking. And if you're this guy right here, you hope that you're the one that comes out on top.
Did throw him a fastball, and it was fouled off. Well, it's got to be an outstanding young talent to go to spring training in your 2nd year in professional ball and make the ball club as a center fielder. He hits that one in the air to deep center field. Henderson back and there, and he's got it. Well, you can see some of the excitement in that kid's bat.
You can probably see a couple of home runs in the Kingdom. Maybe that ball might not have made it out, but the first one he hit to left center might have had a good chance. But to the time of the night it is right now, approaching 10:15, the ball does not carry quite as well, especially with that power alley left center to right center.
Well, you got to hand it to him. He hung in there pretty tough against a tough left-handed pitcher. So there's one out of the 8th inning, and there's Alvin Davis. There's another slider for a call strike to him. Davis tonight is flat out to right twice, and he hit that ground ball in the 6th inning that should have been turned into a double play. Instead, it turned into an error when the ball was dropped at second. And following that, Darnell Coles then got a base hit to drive in the second Mariner run, and that's where we stand right now at 3-2. With Honeycutt out there for probably a short duration because number 43 is in the bullpen for Oakland, cranking it up. Got that one by him. And Honeycutt shook the curveball off to throw that fastball.
Terry Steinbach called a target inside. The ball ended up on the outside part of the plate, and probably it was a good idea that it did, because you don't necessarily like to pitch a guy inside if he has home run capability. And Alvin Davis does. He's very quick on the inside part of the plate with a fastball.
Hey, got him looking at a fastball. Strike 3 call. Boy, Honeycutt really muscled up and threw that ball about as hard as I've seen him throw it.
Had a little sink also to it, as you might see to a right-handed hitter. Ball inside, perfectly placed. And maybe had Alvin Davis thinking outside, and Rick Honeycutt was going to come back with a pitch outside, and he guessed incorrectly.
And here comes Tony La Russa.
I didn't think he was going to give him a chance to face Darnell Coles. The way he has been hot all spring, been swinging the bat tonight.
Yeah, Carney came over there to talk to Honeycutt and kept looking in the dugout as if to say, I know you're coming, Tony. When's it going to be? So the man who saved 45 games for the A's last year is getting a great ovation as he, for the first time in '89, goes into that famous Eckersley trot. Going to the mound. Rick Honeycutt did his job. So we'll be back and watch Eckersley here in the 8th inning. It's 3-2 Oakland.
If the Cleveland Indians can lose enough games, their new owner can move the team to Miami.
You want us to lose?
I want to finish dead last.
And she's handpicked the team that can do it. Or has she?
Every time we win, we peel a section.
Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen. Major League. Rated R. Starts Friday, April 7th at theaters everywhere.
They must be breeding chickens on Mars. I mean, how else could you explain all those processed chicken patty sandwiches? They're like unidentified frying objects. Where I come from, you know, planet Earth, chicken doesn't look like that. Looks like this, an identifiable chicken breast.
A boneless chicken breast, grilled, not fried. The new grilled chicken filet at Jack in the Box. For exciting new taste, this is the place.
That's chicken I can identify with.
Force equals mass times acceleration. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Power equals work divided by time equals the Reebok cross-training system equals the physics behind the physiques equals Reebok.
An incredible set of statistics from last year, but even those don't tell the story, Ray.
Well, he just did a tremendous job last year, and of course everybody talked about the one home run he gave up in postseason. And as someone said, does he like to talk, or does he talk about it? He said only when somebody asks him about it. But he has handled everything very well. He had an excellent spring after a couple of outings in the beginning when he threw a couple of, actually 3 innings, just to try to strengthen his arm. But towards the last couple of weeks of spring training, Dave Duncan had him in pitching his normal 1, maybe 2 innings, and comes right in and throws strikes on the first pitch.
Darnell Coles looks at the Eckersley slider, missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eck is another local product from the Bay Area, grew up in the Hayward area. Coles fouls it away. 2 out in the 8th inning. The Athletics lead it 3-2. Oh, so many times last year Dennis Eckersley came into this near exact situation. 53 times he came in situations whereby he could have saved the game, and 45 out of the 53 he did it. Boy, he threw a blazer by him. So the A's bullpen appears to be taking up right where they left off last year. We go to the last half of the 8th inning. The Athletics lead it 3-2.
If I'm to cross the Isuzu sports car with a 4x4 pickup, I must have full voltage! But Dr. Isuzu Stein, is it safe? Trust me.
Introducing the new Amigo. Part sports car, part truck.
It's a lie. Well, what do you think, Elmo? You created a monster!
When I was in medical school, I was so nervous examining my first patient, I forgot to put the ends of the stethoscope in my ears. Actually, being with patients is what I like best. Human touch, somehow it benefits a person's health. Maybe the best thing about a stethoscope is, it brings me this close to my patients.
As a member of Kaiser Permanente, you can have a personal physician, one like Dr. Les Naiman. Kaiser Permanente, good people, good medicine.
American League Champions Cap Day. That's Sunday. The A's play the White Sox, and they've got a new manager over there by the name of Torborg this year. And you can get a brand new Oakland A's Champions Cap. That's the only place you can get one. As a matter of fact, can't buy one anywhere. First 40,000 people who come here on Sunday receive that. You can order tickets by phone tonight on any of those numbers right there. So cap off your season early by getting an Oakland A's championship cap on Sunday. Here's Dave Henderson as you look at the stats so far in the game. Mark Langston, the ace of the staff, and that's one thing about being number one on opening night. Ordinarily, you're going to face the best the other team has. Curve strike to Hindu. It's 1-1. Dave was hit by a pitch in the first inning, lined out deep center in the third, and single in the fifth. Started to go and didn't. Takes it for ball two.
Well, whatever was wrong with him earlier is he was stretching his arm and just looked like he wasn't loose. Well, he has come on strong since that home run in the third inning by Mark McGwire.
Came on very strong with that pitch. That had to be in the 90s. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dave Henderson. Mariners will have Jeff Leonard to lead it off in the ninth. Well, that's ball 3.
A's will be happy to pick up another run. Just a little insurance going into the top of the 9th inning.
High bouncing ball to Martinez. And he guns him out. There's one down here in the 8th inning. That brings on Carney Lansford, 0 for 3 tonight. Got on an error in the 3rd inning and scored ahead of Mark McGwire's homer. Curve misses, ball 1. Now the game tonight started about 8:05. Right after Michigan defeated Seton Hall. Ball 2 to Carney. Martinez getting a lot of work at third tonight. Shows a good arm by throwing out the second man here in the 8th inning. And here is Mark McGwire coming on for the 4th time tonight.
Now, this is a time he's got a couple of hits and a sacrifice fly, and you can say, well, if I make out, that's 2 for 3. Go ahead and get another hit. Make it 3 for 3 on the night.
Langston hits the outside corner, strike one.
This is when you build that average up. You keep it up there, too, by getting that hit. And may not think, well, that they don't try after they get a couple of hits. They always try.
Well, guys love to get that first hit on opening night. It just takes a burden off your shoulders. Not to go out there and take 3 or 4 offers 3 or 4 games in a row. It really isn't that bad, but it starts feeling that bad. Good changeup. The strike. It's 1 and 2. And Mark backs away. He'll go into 2-strike stance here.
And right there, as you just spread out a little bit farther in the stance.
Now Jose Canseco did that a lot last year.
So he learned from Jose. Watched him in the second half, so he started doing it.
Well, they're both strong enough to hit it out if they're spread out as far as they can spread, just with their arms, and they've done it many times. Change up, ball 3. Langston's really working on him. He's throwing him everything he's got. Nash down to 3 and 2. Curved him, and he beat it off the glove of the pitcher to the shortstop, and he gets him. A great play by Vizquel. That was a great piece of hitting right there by Mark, even though he didn't get the hit. He kind of got fooled on the ball and still managed with that spread out stance to do it. We'll be back with the 9th in a moment.
You are about to witness a demonstration of our latest scratcher. A demonstration designed to show how we've made every prize instant, including every trip to the big spin. This demonstration was conducted on a stage using special effects and a lot of professional-looking people. We highly recommend you try this at home.
These are just some of the people who bought cars before visiting a Nissan dealer for his spring sales drive. They didn't know they could get a Sentra for 0 down and $750 cash back, or a hardbody for 0 down and $750 cash back. They didn't realize they could get special financing or $1,000 cash back on selected models. So don't miss the Nissan Spring Sales Drive. It could save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches. See your nearest Nissan dealer now.
There was a time when the doctor made house calls at the Carlsons, and the milkman would leave milk on their doorstep. Well, there's still someone who will stop by when you need them.
Call Murph, will you?
At Unical, we still do things the old-fashioned way, from cleaning a windshield to jumping your car.
Carlson? Hello, Murph. How's your old man?
He's doing real good.
Tell him I'll be stopping by for a battery.
It sounds like a good idea.
Joe Fonzie back at the Oakland Coliseum with another scoring update. If you haven't heard, the Michigan Wolverines won the NCAA basketball championship 80-79 over Seton Hall. Glenn Rice had 31 points in that ballgame. One other college basketball note, Len Nance, the coach at St. Mary's College, has decided to accept the job at University of Washington, so Len Nance moving to Washington. Let's take a look now at other Major League scores today. In Baltimore, it was the Orioles over Boston by a score of 5-4 in 11 innings. Home runs by Mike Greenwell in that one, and Cal Ripken, a 3-run shot for the Orioles. Kansas City was a 4-3 loser to Toronto. And in Cleveland, the Indians, a 2-1 winner over Milwaukee. In the National League, the defending world champion Dodgers started out by losing to the Cincinnati Reds 6-4. Home runs by Kurt Gibson in that one, and 55,000 people at Riverfront Stadium to see that ball game. It was the Mets over St. Louis 8-4. Pedro Guerrero, a 3-run homer for the Cardinals. And this game just completed. The Giants were 5-3 winners over the San Diego Padres. The losing pitcher in that one was Eric Schau. The winner was Rick Russell. Michael Koss got the save. Kevin Mitchell, a 2-run homer and a 2-run single, so he had 4 RBIs for the Giants in that one. And here, it's the A's 3, the Mariners 2, as Dennis Eckersley tries to mow down the Mariners here in the 9th.
And he has gone so far through 3 pitches to a very dangerous hitter, Jeff Leonard. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the curveball. Look at it, stopped by Lansford. Now the throw. He got him.
Oh, what a play.
Carney Lansford guarding the line against the extra base hit. Went back to the hole, diving and got it.
Pitching and defense, the name of the game. You've seen pitching from the bullpen tonight. Now you're going to see a great defensive play by Carney Lansford on the line stretched all the way out. Plenty of time once he caught the ball. An outstanding play right there.
Oh, man, what a play. Now with one out, here's Greg Briley. After Eckersley's breaking ball, strike one. The A's lead it 3-2. Dave Stewart handed that 3-2 lead over to Gene Nelson. Ball popped up shallow left. Long run for Tony Phillips. He's got it. And there are two down here in the ninth inning. Now the X got to get Dave Valley.
I think Walt Weiss perhaps a little fooled with that ball. I think he thought it was going to carry a little bit farther than it did. Tony Phillips had to run a long way to get the ball, but an outstanding play. Two great defensive plays in this top of the ninth inning.
Valley tonight has had one of the Mariners' 5 base hits. Good slider call, strike one. And Eck is wheeling and dealing up there right now. What kind of a swing was that? That was a late swing. Valley tried to just get the bat out there or something. Strike two.
Well, Dennis Eckersley is a type of guy you can't guess with it because he has such excellent control. What you want to do is just try to guess around the plate. He's going to be around the plate. He's very seldom a walk hitter.
And the crowd rising now as here's the 0-2 pitch. Fly ball right field. 1989 is underway, and game number 1 is over, and the A's are in the victory column. They defeat Seattle 3-2, and they do it with a very familiar pattern. Good starting pitching, great defense, one long ball in Eckersley. And we'll be back to wrap up tonight's ball game very shortly.
These are just some of the people who bought cars before visiting a Nissan dealer for his spring sales drive. They didn't know they could get a Sentra for 0 down and $750 cash back, or a hard body for 0 down and $750 cash back. They didn't realize they could get special financing or $1,000 cash back on selected models. So don't miss the Nissan spring sales drive. It could save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches. See your nearest Nissan dealer now.
What happens when the company that sold you a phone system can't back it up?
I bought this phone system. Now I've got problems, and they don't want to hear about it.
That's the problem with a lot of those phone systems. You're on your own.
Yeah, but what's your option?
We've got a Pacific Bell phone system. It's in their office. They keep it up and running. I don't have to worry about it.
Nothing could be that simple.
Don't take my word for it. Call them.
For business phone systems that make it easier to do business, your best call is to call on us, Pacific Bell.
I knew he was gonna be here. This is gonna be one great party. Do you know why Spuzz McKenzie has so much fun at parties? Because he's always in control. He knows how to make the party last. It takes good sense to have a good time. Spuzz knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
That was Mr. Pullum on the phone. He wants to move your 10 a.m. in San Diego to 3 p.m. in Seattle. You did have a 4 o'clock with sales, which I could slide to 5, but you have a dinner at 6 and a plane at 9 unless you stay over and move.
Within the ever-shifting, ever-churning world of business in the West, there is one constant. United Airlines has more flights to more West Coast cities than any other airline. On that, you can rest assured. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
And you wouldn't have such a crazy schedule.
46,163. The A's, thank you.
Well, it was a sellout here tonight at the Oakland Coliseum. Beautiful night, 62 degrees. And Dave Stewart started, pitched very well for a while, and just sort of ran out of gas. And Tony La Russa did the thing he did all last year. He went down to that bullpen, and 3 guys came out of there doing great.
I think Gene Nelson should get an awful lot of credit. He came in a tough situation, first and second, struck out 2 batters to kind of set the stage. And I think probably at that point pumped up the ball club because they realized that even though the offseason is there, the bullpen came out and did exactly what they did all of 1988.
And Mark McGwire, who had a sensational spring, hit more home runs than anybody in baseball, drove in more runs than anybody in baseball. just kept going right on tonight, and the A's are going to need him with Jose out of there.
Well, fortunately tonight, Mark Langston made a couple of mistakes in the first inning to Tony Phillips with a double, and then to Mark McGwire with another hanging breaking ball that Mark was able to unload on, because there wasn't much offense. But when you have good pitching and you have good defense, you don't have to score that many runs. Tonight was a perfect example of that.
Arnie Lanford just keyed it all there in the last inning. Well, we've seen enough of this all last year, and now we can't get enough of it this year. We got 161 more games to go, and there'll be a lot more where this came from. Joe Fonzie's been with us tonight all night, and Joe's going to wrap it up for us. Joe?
Well, Ray Monty, you talked about how it was almost a formula that the A's followed for success last year, as they continued to follow that formula tonight. One other thing that was so successful and so much a part of things out here last year was the attendance, a year in which the A's went over the 2 million mark. Well, tonight the A's had 46,163 in their home opener, so things looking up in every direction for the A's, and they pick up right where they left off last year in a season in which many people are predicting them to repeat as American League champion and American League West champion. And that'll wrap up A's baseball for tonight. Make sure you're with us for our next televised game Monday night at 7 o'clock live from the Big A in Anaheim as the A's begin a 3-game series with the California Angels. Check your local listings for the time and station in your area. Now, for Monty Moore and Ray Fosse, this is Joe Fonzie. Thanks for being with us. And once again, the final score, the A's 3 and the Mariners 2.
Oakland A's baseball was brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Nissan, built for the human race. United Airlines, come fly the friendly skies. Unical 76, inviting you to go with the spirit of 76. Pacific Bell, your best call is to call on us. Kaiser Permanente, good people, good medicine. The player of the game is brought to you by Nissan, makers of cars and trucks built for the most important race of all, the human race, and your participating neighborhood Nissan dealer.
First baseman Mark McGwire, the A's, who had hit 81 homers in his first 2 years in the big leagues, cracks another one here tonight on opening night to drive in a couple of runs for the Oakland A's. And for being named Nissan Player of the Game, Nissan will donate $300 in the name of Mark McGwire to the Oakland A's Community Fund.
This is a McDonald's quarter pounder. It costs...
Time by the score of 4-0 as Dave